Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the start line by best-selling author and psychotherapist. She told the secret of becoming mentally strong in her TED Talk that has been watched nearly 17 million times. Her latest book is 13 Things Strong Kids Do. We welcome Amy Morin.
Thank you for having me.
Amy, let's go beyond the mic. Why did kids suffer during the pandemic quarantine?
So many kids were struggling with everything from not being able to play sports to not being able to see their friends. And so often when we talk about the stress related to the pandemic, we talk about adults, because we know that as adults, people face financial issues. We face having to make a lot of health decisions for the whole family. But the truth is, when we look at studies right now about which age groups are struggling the most, it's kids 11 to 17 that are most likely to be depressed and to be anxious. And it's easy for us to say, well, it's not a big deal that you didn't get to play basketball this year. But the kids, that is a big deal. A lot of their life revolves around their activities and seeing their friends and going to school. So we need to acknowledge that and teach them, okay, how do you deal with these tough times? There's so many things kids couldn't control this year, but we now have the opportunity to teach them how to respond to those things in a healthy way.
You believe building mental strength is like building physical strength. How does 13 Things Strong Kids Do help build mental strength for our kids?
So just like you can build physical strength by exercising, there's so many mental strength exercises you can do too that change the way that you think, that help you deal with uncomfortable emotions, and then help you take positive action. And when we talk about physical strength and physical health, people realize that there's a difference. You could go to the gym and you could build big biceps by lifting weights. But that doesn't mean that you won't ever get a health problem. You might still get high cholesterol someday, or you could develop an ankle injury. Mental strength and mental health are the same. Mental strength doesn't mean that you'll never get depressed, or if you get an anxiety disorder, that isn't necessarily a sign of weakness. But building mental muscle can help prevent a lot of mental health problems, and it can help improve your mental health and your overall well-being. But it's all about the action that you take every day. In my adult books, I talk about what not to do, because if you wanted to build physical strength, again, you'd go to the gym and lift weights. But if you really want to see results, you should give up some unhealthy habits like eating too much junk food. Mental strength's the same. We need good habits, and we also need to give up unhealthy habits. But in my kids' book, I really wanted to focus on what are the exercises kids can do every day right now so that they don't grow up to develop a lot of these unhealthy habits that us adults have developed over the years.
You have a podcast, a training course, and multiple books. You've spoken around the country. What are your weaknesses, and how do you struggle on a daily basis?
So I grew up a really shy kid who never spoke, even in front of a class of like 12 people. My teacher would read my papers for me because I was way too shy to do that. And so even as an adult, now I've given a TED Talk that, as you say, has been viewed by almost 17 million people. I get to get on this stage when we're not in the middle of a pandemic, and I can speak to a crowd of 10,000 people at a time. Yet, I so often revert back to that 10-year-old kid who thought, what I have to say isn't valuable. Nobody's going to listen. I'm going to be nervous, and everybody's going to notice. So I still work on managing those unhealthy thoughts, figuring out how do you talk back to that, and then dealing with the uncomfortable emotion, the anxiety, the sadness, the disappointment that often comes with being a public speaker. And then figuring out how do you manage those feelings so that you can still act brave? How do you take those bold steps even when you don't necessarily feel like it? And ultimately, this is the book I wish I would have had when I was 10 years old, so that I could have better understood those things at a younger age.
Amy Morin, author of 13 Things Strong Kids Do, joins us beyond the mic. In your book, you give examples, lessons, and exercises to help kids become stronger. Why is this your most important book?
Because again, if we teach kids these at a young age, we could change the entire course of their lives. That they have such a big future ahead of them, and if they know, all right, I can tackle these challenges, they'll be equipped to reach their greatest potential.
Of the 13 Things Strong Kids Do, which one is the most important?
Right now, I think the most important is that strong kids persist. And this is the one that 80% of parents say that their kids are struggling with the most, that they're giving up too soon. I want kids to know that they can hang in there when they're doing hard things and it feels uncomfortable. They can keep working hard and they can get through tough times.
If parents gave this book to their kids, what would be the lasting impact in our society?
I think if kids know that negative thoughts aren't the end of the world and uncomfortable emotions aren't as bad as they imagine, and that they can choose to take some kind of positive action in life, I feel like kids will then feel empowered to say, all right, I can't control everything in my life, but I can control how I respond to it. And they'll know that they have the opportunity and the power to create wonderful things in the world, and that they can go out and do big things, and will empower them if they know, all right, I have the mental strength I need to get through just about anything life throws my way.
Amy, time's running out, so it's time for the Rocking 8. 8 random questions. Answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. There's no pressure. Favorite smell?
Lavender.
How about a guilty pleasure?
Chocolate.
Are you a giver or a receiver?
Giver.
Have you ever scuba dived?
No.
What word do you use way too much?
Absolutely.
What comforts you on your bad days?
The ocean, living on the sailboat.
Do you like sunny or rainy days?
Sunny.
And do you throw bread for the ducks at the park?
I do not.
How can people find more information about you?
My website is the best place, and it's Amy Morin, LCSW, as in licensed clinical social worker.com.
Strong Kids Say No is my favorite of the 13 things strong kids do. Amy Morin is the author, and we thank her for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thanks for having me.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut.